DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Wedding Chat with these two guys. You may remember them, you may not. Dave Ternier and Jeremy Brech.
And Dave is up north where Glenn, who was with us last time, was way down south. But it's nice to have you back, Dave. Welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be here. It does feel like it's kind of been forever. What's it been, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Well, for you, probably, yeah, good 3 weeks. We had
Actually, it's been a month.
And then
it's been a month because it's been a month because I had to go to CPDGA meetings out in Ontario the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, whatever that was, and I was away that week. So yeah. Well, thanks for having me back.
And then we had Halloween, and then we had Wedding MBA, which it was good again this year.
Jared, can you get a little closer to your microphone, please?
I can. How's this?
That's better. Yeah. Then you sound.
All right.
Oh boy.
There we go. But yeah, it's nice to be back, and it's nice to be back into our routine. Always fun chatting with you, and it was funny because John was like, "All right, guys, what's the topic going to be?" And I had this situation this last weekend where John's title is not exactly what I was expecting, but it does have a lot to do with the truth and knowing the truth and telling the truth and why it's important. So I
fake news.
What?
That's fake news.
It is. It is fake news. But no, I'm guaranteeing like my competition's probably listening right now. Like I knew he was lying to all of his clients. But I don't know, maybe not. But no, there's, like I said, there's a great topic tonight, and I'm excited to kind of dive into that. But first, I think there's a lot of hype on something that us in the DJ community and even, I guess, across the globe, Bohemian Rhapsody. Have you seen it yet?
2 days ago.
Yeah. So tell me what your thoughts were.
Did you see it?
I did.
Oh, okay, good. Just need to make sure we're on that same level.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I am thrilled to get Mike Walter's new book, and I've got 2 copies on the way, is because while I know the music, I love playing the music, I am rather ignorant of a lot of the stories behind music because I had to learn it all kind of as I was going. My parents were never into current music of their day, that type of thing. They were the classical, folk, that type of stuff. So I hopefully I don't have to trade in my DJ card here for this, but Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, I had no idea about, let's say, 80% of that story, 85% of that story. I mean, I've never even seen Live Aid before. I knew about it, but so I was enthralled with every frame of that film. I loved how raw it was. I loved how I mean, it was just so real. I mean, if you don't want to see real life, look away.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with real life, you'll be glued to every frame in this movie. It was, what did I referred to it when speaking with a friend, that it was tragically beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It's, you know, it's an amazing story. Freddie Mercury, just in general. And I didn't realize like he was Pakistani or
Right.
Pakistani.
Yeah.
And you know, you always watched Queen in music videos, and you kind of seen how they portrayed themselves. And I remember watching.
Just FYI, we've had one comment already. No spoilers. I still need to see it. There's probably a few people like that, so Jared and I will do our best to navigate around that. Go ahead, Jared.
Okay, well, Freddie is dead. That's the spoiler or not, but no, sorry. In reality, so this isn't going to spoil the movie by any means, but I remember watching. It was like VH1 had done a story on Freddie Mercury, and I kind of knew like his the uniqueness side, or the unique side of him, and you know, he dabbled in, you know, some of his ways, and it was really interesting like how they portrayed this movie, but yet still made it not a family friendly movie, but it was a PG-13 movie. You know, there was a lot of things that happened in that band, that happened with Freddie Mercury, that I think they did a great job of making it so it was a level of PG-13, A, to sell tickets to a lot more general admission, but B, to also show the genuine side of who Queen was, and who Freddie Mercury was. As soon as I finished watching that movie, Sarah, my wife, went with me, and I pulled up the Live Aid live performance on YouTube, and it is so crazy how well they did with that scene, with everything. And I mean, you think about, if they had that much that was true and dead on and perfect, you know, the rest of that story was just, it was so well done. The gentleman who played Freddie Mercury, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
He did a great job, and he played that part well. He was Freddie Mercury. I remember watching previews when they first started previewing that movie. I'm like, holy crap, who is this guy who looks exactly like Freddie Mercury? And it wasn't just his looks, it was his actions, it was his movements. And when you watch that live performance, or that last performance, it goes to show, you know, the hundreds of thousands of people who were watching, he was a performer, and he owned it. It didn't matter what he was going through in his life. He performed for everybody, which I thought was amazing. So
he did, and he performed in a, I mean, that was him. It's not like he completely became somebody else on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he amplified himself, of course, but I mean, his exaggerated, right, yeah, but I mean, his exaggerated antics on stage, you know, were just as exaggerated when he's waltzing into the studio and, you know, hello, darling, and da 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 da. I mean, he was the same guy.
Yeah, and I thought they did a good job of telling this this impactful story, but yet it still was lively. They had good humor. I felt kind of liven things up a little bit, even when, you know, the times were, you know, really sensitive and very emotional. They did a good job of just playing the characters. I mean, not just the guy who played Freddie Mercury, but you look at you look at the rest of the band members, and then you go watch videos of them. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, they really picked the right people for these parts. So I thought that was extremely cool.
Yeah, 100%.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah. I wish we could speak more. But yeah, Neil, out of respect for you, buddy, won't do any spoilers. But I will say, his Jeremy, just FYI, his female love interest in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought she was a remarkable character, and I mean, what a way to portray a really complex individual, but such an important individual quick bit of trivia. I've done some reading up about her since. She does everything she can to stay out of the limelight, but to this day, she lives in that mansion of his.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
So pretty remarkable.
Awesome.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
I want to start the show off with that because, again, I think as entertainers, even, general public, if you're not a DJ, if you're just watching this show to watch it, go watch that show. It's, again, the music is phenomenal. They did a great job of telling this story. And, there's, again, you always get those people, well, this was inaccurate. I don't care. You still get drawn into the story. And I think they did a phenomenal job with it. So,
yeah. Yeah, very true. Very true. I'm curious, how many non-DJs do we have that watch our show?
I don't know. My mom is probably watching right now, actually.
Hi, Jeremy's mom.
Oh, man, I'm so embarrassed now.
Very good. Very good. So, yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, the word is out. Go and watch it. It's a heart. I don't know where to go with that. It'll get you all the feels. It'll get you.
And that is kind of a good segue to Mike Walters' book, because I mean that his book, and I remember reading some of the posts that he was writing about on this day in history or this day in music, and there's just so much that we don't realize or we don't notice or see or recognize in music. And that can be so impactful. And I think his book that he put out, you probably can find it on Amazon, right? I'm guessing.
That's where, because of Canadian shipping and stuff, that's where I got it from. I got it from Amazon.
Okay. Yeah.
And
so
for all the Canadian people watching, Amazon.ca, and it is available through Prime, by the way.
There you go. But I think he does a good job of storytelling some of these really important moments in music history. So I look forward. I'm going to definitely get the book. I haven't ordered it yet. But props to him for putting this journal of music together for the DJ industry and just people who enjoy and appreciate music.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I've already recommended it to actually my the girl who cuts my hair. Her other half. He's huge into music. Plays in a band. Has read piles of bios. I'm like, Josie, you need to order this book for your man for Christmas. So. There you go, Mike Walter. Non-DJs already getting in the line to buy it.
There you go. I'm going to check it out right now, actually. So
lead me down this path, Jared. What did you have recently? Because the topic that John gave us, hopefully I don't lose any friends. But I think it's a great topic. Where did you want to go with it? And
so here's what I sent John. What I had sent him was honesty, telling people what they need to know, not what they always want to hear.
Yeah,
and of course. The reason I bring this up is I was a part of an expo this last weekend, and like we had really good results on a show we did, a wedding show that we did in October, and again, it's what we would expect in a fall show.
Mm-hmm.
We had really good returns in our October show, and the show that we did on Sunday was just, there wasn't the energy there. There wasn't the traffic. It was not near the same type of show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Layouts were wonky, but I mean, I can't blame it on the layouts. Our booth was pretty much exactly the same. There really wasn't that much different in what we did from the October show to what we did for this show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, our placement was kind of wonky, but either way, we try to be personable and get people to engage with us. But after the show, the question was, well, how was the show? And in complete honesty, I said, gosh, it was slow. And the producer kind of stood there for like 5 seconds and like didn't know what to say. And he just kind of nodded and said, really? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't feel like there was a lot of people that came through or that we got to engage with, or we got to set up appointments or anything like that. And, it was like, really, gosh, you're the only one who said that. And that's where I kind of came up with this idea of this topic was, sometimes people, maybe it's to end the conversation so they don't have to go deeper into that rabbit hole.
Right.
But without the honesty of saying, this, it just felt like a slow show, or it didn't feel like we hit our numbers the way we should have. For everybody else to say, oh, it was a good show, by telling them what they want to hear, there's no way to improve on it for the next time, or there's never room for growth if everything seemed to be okay. So I think that's important. And this is where I want to kind of dig into why honesty is so important. Because again, the way John put the title in there, it's like, should we be honest? Something like that. I'm like, hold on, that's not what it meant. That's not what I said. But I think, sometimes people don't always want to hear the truth, and they just want to hear what gives them the warm fuzzies inside. So that was a situation. I'm curious to hear from people on the board. I'm curious to hear from you on your thoughts and situations that you've been in, where sometimes, it might not be the best thing to say, but sometimes you just have to say it.
Honesty has bitten me in the more times than I can count.
Yeah. But the result of it, I mean, granted, it probably didn't go your way. It probably didn't go the way it should have, but I'm going to leave it open.
I stay true to me. I hope that the people around me with whom I am sometimes really honest, I hope they come out better in the end, even if not acknowledged in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about yourself, but I mean, I do a lot of, I participate in a lot of conversations with DJs who are trying to better themselves, every month, every week sometimes. And that's where I struggle in how honest should you be with somebody, because I do believe there is a level of honesty, even with a show producer, that can maybe come at an inopportune time. For instance, they need to understand, you need to tell them about a couple of these things first. And then once they have a basic understanding about those, then you can be honest about a few other things, because they're going to get why you're going to go that next level.
Yeah.
For instance, in your example, right? If it's a brand new show, yada, 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 you say, it was a little bit slow, da, da, da. The show producer might be going, well, duh, it was my first time. You may not go there right away. You may go, you know what? I thought it was a great first attempt. Looking forward to helping you make it better. Right. So those are two different levels of honesty. And I think it really depends on the relationship with the person.
Right.
So is honesty always the best policy? Yes. But how much honesty is too much? And I do believe in some cases there is too much. Now, in the case you just referenced, my guess is not. It sounds like it was probably an established show. I hope the producers take it to heart, because I do believe there is a huge fear that people have of criticizing people, unless, of course, it's online in a Facebook group. You go to a restaurant, something's not perfect, the average person will never say anything.
Yeah.
And I've fallen into that myself. But of course, like you just said, that helps nothing.
Right.
So
here's some of the situations that I've been in. So when I'm working with like a couple, or I'm working with a client, if you're not honest with them, then you're going to lose a lot of their trust. And I think trust is one of the hardest things, and respect is one of the hardest things to gain from anybody. And if you are setting something up with a client and they're like, well, we want to do this, this, and this. Now, us as entertainers, we have to step in and say, you know what? I love that idea. I just don't know if it's going to work the way we want it to. And you have to be honest with them. I mean, you can't say, oh yeah, that's going to look awesome, or that's going to work great. If it's not, but yet you've already promised that, and you already knew that it wasn't going to be exactly what they wanted, or it wasn't going to be the way it should have happened, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. And again, I think that's where you start creating dishonesty within your company, within your reputation. And you know, another example, I had a gentleman who reached out to me on my YouTube channel, who watched a video of the new Chauvet Freedom H1s, and he said, "Hey, I wanted to get some of these lights, and I wanted to just kind of get your opinion on them. You know, I want to do pin spotting for floral, and I want to do this and this." And you know, then I had to start asking some questions. I've said, "Okay, so you want to do pin spotting? What are your ceiling heights that you're typically working with?" And I know this is like technical, and we're kind of getting, actually, it's not off topic, but the things I had to ask him to make sure that he was getting the right tool for what he was trying to do, kind of led him.
Oh no. Have I disconnected or is Jeremy disconnected? I wish I knew. Somebody tell me if I'm still on. I will quickly address, hopefully Jeremy gets back here soon. I will quickly address just a couple of things. Made in the comments, I'm brutally honest with my business partner who will blow smoke like Snoop Dogg. Oh, Neil, I'm live? All right. Those individuals are a real challenge to do business with sometimes. I know I've had friends back in high school who blow smoke like Snoop Dogg. Completely get it. Those situations can be a real struggle. Dance, monkey dance. Goodness gracious. Always try to be honest in a positive way. Yeah, honesty, I think, comes down to not what you're saying, but how you're saying it. Jared referenced just a few minutes ago, you know, when a couple has an idea and you're like, that idea sucks. Oh, he's back. Maybe. You know, he had a great soft way of saying that, so I'm not sure if you caught that, but that was really great as well.
Oh, there we go.
You're back.
All right. I am back. Yeah. So sorry about that. My internet connection just like gave out on me.
That's okay. I thought it was mine maybe. So, but you had a comment from Neil that said the story was just getting good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I didn't know if it was mine or if it was yours. So you froze on my screen, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if they froze or I froze, but yeah. I'm just gonna keep rolling. And so I'm basically like talking to myself is what it really came down to. So anyways, the question was, you know, will these fixtures work good for pin spotting and everything? And again, when I'm speaking on behalf of Chauvet, or I'm helping them kind of push some of the product, my job is to be true to the client or the customer. And that's exactly what I did. I basically said, you know what, this isn't the best option for what you're trying to do. What you might want to do is, you know, look at this, this, and this. And he was like, okay, thank you so much for your honesty. I think I'm still going to get some. I'm like, cool, no problem. But again, it came down to just making sure that I didn't want him to get something, and then all of a sudden he goes to use it, and it's like, well, this isn't working how I thought it was going to work. So that's one thing I actually enjoy about communicating with people on my YouTube channel, is helping them find solutions and the right solutions to accomplish their needs and their wants. And again, I think that honesty also is important when you're working with your couples and your clients, because you have to build that trust with them.
Yeah, 100%. Honesty makes a difference. It can go both ways, though. And again, like I was saying to somebody, actually just had a phone conversation with somebody yesterday. It's not what you're saying when you're being honest, but it's how you're saying it. You know, thank you to Mark for pounding that into us over is how to be really honest with colleagues in our industry. I mean, you know, when you know someone is reaching for, you know, point A, or, you know, a certain skill set, and they just their character is not maybe a fit for what they're trying to accomplish, or maybe they have some other issues going on. How do you approach that? I'll be honest, it's still something I really, really struggle with. I mean, I just want to include everybody and everything, but I have learned that that is the best solution for everyone, because it can lead people down a path where they're maybe being misguided into believing that something is attainable for them. Does that make any sense? And he's back.
I'm back.
Did that make any sense? I'm not sure how much of that you caught. Sorry, folks. Look at that. See, I go away for a couple of weeks and just the thing comes crashing down. Welcome to live TV, folks.
It says my internet connection is unstable, so I don't know what's all going on here.
Bizarre.
But yeah.
Sorry, John. Sorry, everybody watching. This is really rough tonight. But we're being honest. We're being honest.
We're just digging.
I'm just digging. But you know, one of the comments is I always try to be honest in a positive way. Rather than rip somebody down, I ask if they want suggestions of ways to improve. That's a great question to start out with. And the same goes for working with clients or working with vendors as well, right? I mean, if one of my, you know, wedding couples has a hey, I think we're going to do this idea for fill in the blank activity. And in my head, I go, oh, that sucks. But I'm not going to say it that way. Okay, yeah. That idea has potential. We need to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's a saying. It's like I don't remember what it is. It's something about, you know, you never have to worry if you always tell the truth, or you never. I can't remember exactly how it goes. It's a great saying. But
we're all thrown off now.
Yeah, I am scattered.
I will share a story of honesty that was one of the most difficult at event moments of my life, but ended in a really, really positive way. It was a situation where I had to present a few thank yous to some partners that were involved in helping make the event happen. And some of those partners were industry partners. So, you know, I mean, photographer, florist, etc. And the list of names I've been given to thank the vendors. I'm speaking on behalf of my client, right? So I'm just, my brain wasn't thinking, who is this list missing, right? And so I get through that. And then after the event, while we're tearing down, the vendor that I missed, because they weren't on my list, came up to me and shared their very honest feelings with me that they were really hurt by it. And I was beside myself. I was like, I'm the guy that, you know, works pretty hard to get along with everybody, you know, as a general rule. You know, if you cross me, then I'll just probably ignore you, but I'm not going to go out and maliciously destroy you. And I felt really, really awful. And it's funny because this individual then had a moment of regret that they had said anything, because they saw how terrible I felt. and they genuinely regretted bringing it up at all. And it was all I could do to say to them, no, I thank you very much for sharing that as we parted ways that evening. So I ended up in a week's, or maybe it was about a month, I ended up getting a gift card to a restaurant. I think it was $50 or $100, and I gave it to them. I sent it to them in the mail with a card saying, look, I want you to know I really value you as people, and I regret what took place that evening, not in so much as what you shared with me and how honest they were with me, right? Because this was a situation where they had to decide how honest should be with Dave. But I said I received in response to that, mailed to me, a thank you card was just the most genuine, heartfelt thing in the world. So I think what we all have to be cautious about is not only how we are honest with people, but when somebody is honest with us, how do we take it? Now, I probably shouldn't have reacted quite the way I did and feeling so bad in front of them, because I actually made them feel bad. And I may have actually put up a barrier to them being honest with somebody again in the future. And that was on me. Do you have any situations like that?
Well, I was just going to say constructive criticism, I think is one thing, or I think that's something that DJs cannot stand. They like to, and I mean, we're all that way. I'm that way. Every presenter that presents on a stage, every DJ who mixes tunes, every MC that gets up to guide an event, we love to know that we're doing the best. And for instance, when we did our Wed Guild application, when you did yours, I did mine, all the Wed Guild people did theirs.
Yeah.
It was here's some footage. Here's what I do. Here's, this is my script writing. This is that.
Yeah.
And, we're thinking going in, we're like, yeah, I'm handing this in because this is 100% dead on. This is perfect. And then it becomes a reality. And then you start questioning yourself, like, gosh, am I even good enough? Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? How can I improve? But a lot of DJs, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but you do have those that are really, they're kind of stuck in their ways, and this is how they do it, which is fine. But it's okay to take honest criticism, constructive criticism, if someone is there to help you and to guide you, give you insight. It's one of the most valuable things you can get, especially for someone who has either gone through it, someone who notices it, because you're not going to notice it. Otherwise you wouldn't have done it the way you did it.
Right.
If in your head you thought that this is the perfect execution of what I need to do for this, but yet it wasn't, or I should say, let me rephrase that. If you didn't execute 100% to how you thought it should have gone, then you wouldn't have gone that path. So, like I said, I mean, constructive criticism is really hard on some people sometimes.
Yeah.
But that is the only way. That's the only way to improve who you are, what you do, and how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, truthfully, I loved the fact that, again, here we go, Mike Walter actually put a full performance of a wedding that he did. He put it out there and said, you know what? You always wanted to see what I do. Here's what I do. And he knew that he was either going to get praise, and he knew that there were some people that are going to be like, yeah, that's not how I do it. Or you have those people that are like, well, you should have done this, or I didn't like when you did that. That's going to happen in everything in everyday life. It's like I coach my daughter's basketball team, and there's sometimes they make decisions that, granted, I wouldn't make. But as a coach, I need to be honest with them, because if I don't say anything and I don't do anything about it, they're not going to improve themselves. They're not going to fix the situation or fix the solution for next time. I know that seems silly, but that's really what it is. I mean, honesty is almost like a type of coaching.
It is. And I think where you come from and how you've been raised and all that really contributes to the type of honest person you might be. It's hilarious that, we keep bringing up Mike Walter, but Mike is one of the most honest people I've maybe ever met. And maybe it's the Jersey in him, I don't know, but or whether it's his presentations that he does, he always speaks right from this place that, look, this may not be you, but guys, this is me.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. And he says it with such conviction, damn well he's being honest and he's not just putting on a show.
Yep. And Randy's the same way. They're not afraid. They know that there's a possibility that might offend somebody, but they're still willing to put the information on the line because that's what they feel and that's what they believe, and they go with it. Yeah,
100%. 100%. So I'm not going to suggest you all go Jersey style on us or whatever. But
what does that mean? What does that mean? All of our Jersey people, please tell us what that means. What does it mean to go Jersey style? Us in the Midwest and way up in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly a more soft-spoken individual and don't speak my mind quite as much. I guess this is the contrast I'm trying to create. So maybe somebody teach me. Maybe I'm misspeaking here. But that being said, I think being honest is something that everybody can work comfortable with when it comes to being honest with people and then also receiving honesty from people.
Yeah.
And when it comes to dealing with weddings, which is, of course, how we try to theme things here, God, whether it's dealing with the mother of the bride or what have you, again, you've got to be really good at being honest with her and also taking honesty in a manner that leads to a successful outcome at the event. And it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Anyway, let's any final thoughts?
Any chats? Do we have anybody who's being completely honest and says, guys, your show sucks?
We have a quiet bunch tonight, which is maybe just as well because of the issues we had. And apologies to everyone for that. I don't know what happened there. A couple of comments here. It's very easy to give great reviews about those vendors you love and have great relationships with. The ones that you don't really enjoy / don't do good work with, still need to find a way to make it. You still need to find a way to make it nice. So yeah, absolutely. Honest. Is there a song? Honesty, it's such a lonely word.
Honesty?
Yeah.
It's by Striper.
Maybe that's it. Somebody's quoting
it's
it.
Called Honestly, but
honesty goes a long way with integrity. Made a groom mad because I wouldn't play a first dance with the F-bomb in it. Had to clean the song. He wasn't happy, but it was our compromise. Yeah.
What first song had the F-bomb in it?
Somebody asks, thanks to David Wolf, by the way, for sharing that little bit about the groom he had. What was the song?
Beautiful by...
It's a country song called, apparently called Feathered Indians. I have never heard of it before.
James Blunt. That song, remember Beautiful?
Yeah. Oh, right. That one.
There's a big F-bomb in the middle of that one.
That's true. That is true.
Luckily, I had checked the song, or I listened to the song before I'd actually use it at a wedding. But I had to edit it before I went out and used it. Because, right there, right in the middle. He was getting high. But he wasn't just getting high, he was getting really high.
Oh, we've just gotten a shame on us for not knowing the song that was being referenced earlier. Unsure. Lonely honesty. It's such a lonely word. Jer, you and I are going to have to go look this up after this.
I'm going to look it up right now.
He's looking it up right now. Hey, I already claimed earlier in the show, right? This is why I'm so excited to get Mike's book and just read and learn more about music.
Honesty, such a lonely word. Oh, Billy Joel, Honesty.
There we go. This is why somebody wrote Billy Joel way down lower, but I wasn't sure if that was... Oh, John, who's obviously monitoring the chat, he just chimed in and said it's a 70s tune, Before You Two Were Born.
Released in 1978. It was a Grammy nomination.
Grammy nominated?
Here.
Dang.
on 52nd Street album.
All right, we'll tell you what, everybody. Jeremy and I are going to go listen to some Billy Joel now. And
so
all the best of being honest.
Yeah, let's go to final thoughts. Did you have
Well, I think the way you started this and the experience you just recently had about being honest, look, I think being honest is something we should all remain uncomfortable with, because the moment we get too comfortable with it, we're not going to be overly concerned with how honest we are with people in situations where we maybe need to soften things a little bit. So I think let's stay committed to being uncomfortable with honesty so that we're using it in the appropriate ways and in the appropriate places. And that's on the giving and on the receiving side. That would be my final thoughts on that.
You know, and I would say, you know, honesty is honesty. It like you said, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can portray that message, be honest, and you can still be sensitive to the situation. So, you know, if I've had the conversation with my basketball girls who are in 6th grade who start having body odor issues, you know, it's like, hey, you know, I need to let you ladies know that, and then just kind of, you know, spill it to them. But there's always a way to be honest and sensitive at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think finding that happy medium is extremely important. But no matter, the end game is always be honest, because you never know when that's going to come back to bite you. You just, honesty is, yeah. I can't imagine not being honest, trying to dig yourself out of that hole.
Amen. Amen. And it's when I when I was actively writing at djthought.com, all the content is still there in case anybody's never heard of it. There's plenty of reading to do. You know, it was something that I really worked hard, sometimes to my detriment, to make sure every single post there was, you know, I tried to be really raw and authentic in the way I shared things there. So yeah, honesty, the best policy. That's it. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.